In this episode, we're going to the drags. Yep. It's been a few days since then, and I have come back relieved that it's now over. The drags are something I've been scared of in terms of breaking something in the driveline, whether it be the tail shaft, the diff, or the axles. Anything, the gearbox, worst case. I've wanted to see a number. I haven't been to the drag since 2014, and back then I did a 13.8, and that's when the car was absolutely stock at 112 mile an hour, I think. So we've obviously beat that time now. All I wanted to do is run somewhere underneath a 13, and I said that I would be happy to run a 12.99 and go home. No questions asked. I don't want to break it. If it ran a 12.9, I'd be out. I was hoping to actually just do one run and that's it. But, of course, come the night, it gets a little bit more intense and you want to better yourself a little bit more, so I gave it 3 runs. I used the first run just to roll on and see how the car was going to go. I just wanted to get a feel for it, like go down the strip and full send it, but just with a roll on so that I could, like I said, get a feel for it.
What did we get to? 18 PSI.
A couple of days prior to the drags, I realized that the car wouldn't boost over 18 PSI. And I'd up the duty cycle, and for whatever reason it would still hit 18 PSI and it would stop. I don't really know what was going on. I pressed a few buttons on the boost controller. On the way there I was trying to figure it out. I did a couple of pulls and tried to get it to go up, but still I was locked on 18 PSI and I wasn't sure exactly what was happening. So part of the first run also was to try and see if it would surpass 18 PSI, which it didn't. 18 PSI compared to my peak boost, which is 25, is about 310 kilowatts. So the first run was down on power.
Hey. Hi. Thanks.
You're welcome.
On that first run, I did a 14.1, and I think that it was 118 miles an hour, and that's just rolling on first gear and then punching it and then continuing on from second. I was obviously not happy with a 14.1, and that was just the test run anyway. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually extremely bored, and I thought this is the worst type of racing ever. This is boring, this is dull, there's nothing to it. Now, I thought the exact same thing in 2014, because I was like, all I've done is risk the hell out of every part of my car for the sake of 14 seconds worth of being on track. Pressed a few more things, upped the duty cycle again, went out there on that second run, and the car did feel faster, and I saw it got to 21 PSI. Like I finally found something to up the boost that little bit.
All we gotta do is launch right, correct?
You'll notice in these runs also that I don't do the burnout. In terms of just being a paranoid wreck and not being in a situation where I can just keep replacing parts that are worth thousands of dollars, I'm not willing to break a car. So I was avoiding the burnout and just trying to get the launch, and if it slipped a little bit, even though I bought the drag tires to basically eliminate the slippage, realistically I still wanted them to slip a bit in case something was to break. We've come back, as you've seen in one of the previous videos, that I've replaced the Mantic clutch that was in here with the exact same one. It's still a single plate. It's still just a normal heavy duty version of that clutch. It's not a button clutch. It's just literally a slightly heavier spring, I believe. So here's the second run.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Oh, fine. Not bad.
We've now seen a launch with a bit more RPM, still screeched a bit. It only spun that little bit trying to take off, but it was still a relatively soft launch and it was kind of slow. It was a 2.27 60 foot and we ended up running a 12.5 at 122 miles an hour. So I was actually really happy with that. When we came in and I saw this 12.5, I was a bit excited and I was like, that was a 12.5 with a shit launch. What if we tried it, but a little bit harder? The launch is one thing that I could do, but I'm also still down on power, so I need to add more boost. I said I was going to go home at a 12.9, but the 12.5 and that mile an hour had me saying, you can see an 11. Just up the boost and go again, right?
That was a shit run. Axel tramped the out of first, fishtailed all of second, cut out in third, and then tried to carry what fourth had. The car felt faster than it had before, but it just felt wasted.
So this run was pathetic. This run actually annoyed me. I went out excited and then I went to launch a bit harder. Again, no burnouts, so no extra traction. The tires weren't at their correct temperature. It definitely launched with more power than it had before, and it axle tramped like crazy. My brain was like, get out of it before you snap something, but my foot was to the floor. It didn't want, I was like, no, just send it, who cares, go for it. That's where it gets a little bit risky. I'm glad nothing broke, but it was a very high chance. When you get axle tramping, it's where things break. I just kept going with it, and I've gone straight into second really aggressively, and it felt like I was on ice. Straight to red line, just spinning the wheels. It felt like it moved a lot more than the camera shows, but there was a little bit of a fishtail. So all of second was spinning. Then I got into third and it hit hard again. As we're getting to the top of third gear, boost cut. I don't know if you can see in the video, but there is a little hesitation. Now that tiny hesitation in the video was actually a very violent kind of feeling where I've just shaken. I was like, oh, for f***'s sake. So while that happened, the run was already ruined by frying all of second, smashed it into fourth, sent it as far as I could go, and thought, whatever, it is what it is.
All right, sorry car, we're done. We are done. Damn. I would say I hope there's a redeeming fact, like maybe a mile an hour, but that was a waste. Sorry, Supra fans that wanted to see something great. Not tonight. Not me. Ah, hi. Call it 120. Pathetic.
Very frustrated. The car felt a lot faster before it boost cut. Like, it felt a lot faster. 23 PSI, if it was to actually hold it the whole way through, is about 370 kilowatts. If I could grip, launch, and not boost cut, the car would actually top out a lot faster than what we see here. What we saw at the end of this run, a 12.8 at 120.94 miles an hour, so basically 121 miles an hour, and that was frying second, not moving, axle tramping the hell out of first, boost cutting in third, and ruining the momentum. I had fun. I'm not gonna lie. The first run, I said, this is a joke. Drag racing is pathetic. The second run, I thought, well, this is a bit exciting, and I'm gonna go for it. And the third run, I was very excited, but also very disappointed after it. What can I say? I mean, drag racing, it's not for me. You're not gonna see this car go out there again. I don't have time, or I can't justify the money to be trying to run for 10 seconds to prove a point to anyone.
6 seconds to go.